Hi, I'm Tony Spartolo, Director of Collaboration Engineering at 2020 Technology, welcoming you to my basement, my home office, my dork den, to have a little bit of fun with some new technology. So today we're going to talk a little about the Neat bar for Zoom rooms, but before we get started, let's put down a couple of ground rules. One, this is my opinion. This is not the opinion of 2020 Technology, any of our partners in any way, shape, or form. All logos you may see in this presentation are owned by the respective trademark holders. All information I'm going to use today is publicly available. There is no non-disclosure or futures included. This is not a paid promotion. We actually bought this equipment ourselves, so there's no quid pro quo between us or any of the parties involved. We are not a partner of Neat.no. They are a direct sales model, so there is no advantage to us either way when it comes down to the technology. And I will do my best to be completely unbiased, but for the sake of transparency, I was an employee of Tamberg Cisco for about 17 years, and I know quite a few people at Neat and consider them my friends. But with that, let's get started. And where does this all start? It starts with Zoom rooms. While Zoom is obviously blown up in the industry and has become a huge tool for everybody to get through these trying times, a lot of people kind of forget they also have some great room solutions. And those solutions have kind of morphed over the years. Not that there's many of them for them, but from just simple PC-based, Windows-based devices all the way up to where we're at now with more dedicated appliance technology. There are tons of options. There are tons of partners that make Zoom rooms, but today we're just going to talk about one in particular, and I'm probably not going to do too much comparing or contrasting with any of the other ones out there because I haven't played with them, and I tend to try to speak from experience with the exception of a few. But a little bit about Neat.no. So Neat's got a long lineage when it comes to the collaboration, video conferencing, telepresence, whatever the term of the week is right now, industry. They come from Tamberg, Pexip, Kano, Kodian, Cisco, pretty much all the major players in the last 20 years or so in the market. But with that in mind, let's go ahead and start playing with the technology. So we're going to do an unboxing and talk a little bit about it and go from there. So start with box one. And I would like to connect my Neat Pad adapter to power, or PoE, first, and then follow setup and mounting. It does come with, looks like it comes with at least two Ethernet cables. So it's got a power adapter as well with multiple countries. That's kind of useful right there, is having all your adapters connected are available. A screen mount. Another screen mount. This looks like this is probably a tabletop. No, it's a wall mount. Look at that. This is the actual panel itself. But it does have a really nice kind of graphic that shows you how you connect it up. As you can see, the big piece here, well, not really that big, is the bar itself. Let's talk about some of the other things. I've done a little bit of look into the mounting that comes with it, the different mounting options. One thing I will say is they give you a ton of mounting options from what I read. There's three, but there's also obviously the piece de resistance, and this is really all the intelligent is the bar itself. It's small. It's really smaller than I expected from the websites and everything else. And like I said, I've never seen one live before. All I've seen is obviously the videos and reveal videos from Zoomtopia and the website. To be honest, I'm really kind of amazed at the size of it. First impressions, beautiful engineering, incredibly clean, incredibly slick. I really like the speaker overlay. It's reminiscent of the MXP series back in the day. And it's also reminiscent of some of the newer ones. But, you know, I expect no less. Very Norwegian red dot type design. I'm sure they'll try to get a red dot award for these. Once again, this is neat. Here's another QR code. So maybe that's going to give me more instructions. I absolutely love the power supply is actually built in. There is no giant brick It's actually right inside the unit, so I don't have to have anything but the power cord connected to it. It is more of a laptop 2-pin connector. But I'm so sick of power bricks. It seems everything today has a power brick on it. But with that, so a little bit of a looser unboxing, and I kind of want to bring this up. This is a lot of mounting gear. For the price of the unit, they are definitely giving your money's worth for options on mounting. I really want to point this out because other devices like this that I played with recently have multiple additional part numbers you have to order based on how you're going to mount the unit, which I can't tell you how many times that's caused devices to get on site and have to wait another day because we had to order the right part number for the right mounting type. But we talked a little bit before how there's these QR codes everywhere. On almost every device, you'll see a QR code. One there, one there, and one on that guy. There's one on that, and one on that one too, just down there. So got me thinking, so great, I love all these QR codes, what do they do? So I'm going to take one of these mounts, and I'm just going to use my iPad, because my iPhone's doing the filming. It says, let's open this. So this takes me direction on how to mount it, based on if I want to mount it table, wall, screen. So in this case, I'm going to be going to a screen, and I'm going to be up above, and if I click it, it actually starts an incredibly cool little guide about go find all these parts and walks you through it. So all right, so let's get the touch panel set up. As you can see, this is the directions. So we're going to take the Ethernet cable supplied, which is a nice metal Ethernet cable. We go to the back here. You can see there's a nice place to plug it in. I actually love how it's got this nice rubber gasket right there for the cable. Oh, that was kind of easy. There we go. Welcome. Let's continue on. So I'm going to set this up with my Neat bar and hit continue. And now I need to connect up my Neat bar to power and Ethernet. I do like how hey guys, go here. That's kind of the instructions are built into the process. It's kind of a new way of doing it. So let me go get that set up and we'll continue on. I did that. And let's see. Neat bar number, TV screen. And that is the one on my TV screen. So that's the one. Very cool. I was afraid I was going to punch that in. Okay, and hit continue. It's update time that is mandatory. Alright guys, so once I have gone and created the room in the Zoom admin interface, now I'm just going to get that activation code and enter it in. Not sure what's going on here. I entered my Zoom room activation code and now this is happening. Looks like it's just in a reboot cycle. Okay, so the drama has ended. So we did run into an issue, or I ran into an issue installing this, as you saw, with the constant reboots. I got quickly in touch with Neat Tech Support and Zoom Tech Support. What we found is I had an image preloaded on the portal to be the background image. And for some reason, it had a problem with that image. We don't know what it is yet. All the tech teams are working on it. Once I deleted that from the profile for this unit, system came right up, problems resolved, no issues since. And by the way, I've actually since then gone and reloaded images to be background images and not had a problem. So I'll do a follow-up once the teams there kind of resolve it, but enough of that drama. Let's get to the good stuff. So as you can see, the Neat bar is really slick. It's kind of small, fits perfectly over it, looks great in a room. From a technology standpoint, obviously, camera with electronic pan-tilt zoom, 1080p resolution. I think it's a 4K optic, but 1080p is what Zoom maxes out at. Now, one thing I do want to also bring up is currently 1080p capabilities in Zoom and Zoom rooms is disabled by default. And this is due to the current environment. As you know, traffic on Zoom is massive. They are willing to turn it on if you have a use case. Personally, I don't think I have a good enough use case that I want to take away bandwidth from anybody who might really need it, like medical groups, educational groups. So I'm not going to turn that on. So I'm going to stay away from too much video quality discussion since I can't max this out. So in the Neat Bar, this acts as your speaker in the meeting, as well as it has microphone elements all the way through it. So this is what picks up the whole room. There's also microphone elements on the touch panel itself. So if you have a large room, you basically get a second mic. There's also environmental air quality sensors built into the unit. Now that's currently not being used, but it's been built for future expansions capability. The bar can support 2 monitors. I obviously don't have the space for 2 monitors if you want to separate your content from your main video. And it was, other than my software problem, a breeze to install. The mounting options were awesome. The instructions to mount them was awesome, and obviously it's in place now. I am using a 4K display. Resolution looks great. What's going output to the display. And you can obviously also use this as digital signage, which I think is a huge value add that's not a lot of people have seemed to figure out how to do it on their endpoints. It's incredibly simple in the Zoom portal. And maybe we'll do a separate video on that at some other time. But it's a big value add. And by the way, per Zoom Room license, you get up to 5 displays. And what I mean by that is, while this is obviously acting as a display, I can use digital signage players as well as PCs with software on them, up to 4 more if I wanted to. So with that, let's get a little bit into the touch panel and the interface, and we'll talk about some of the calling options that are available to you. All right, so this is my up and running panel on the Neat Bar. I kind of love this user interface for multiple reasons. So obviously, going from the left to right, Meet Now, meeting list. So once I have this integrated into my Outlook, I'll be able to see any meeting I have scheduled for the day that I've scheduled the room on in simple 1 button to press. I can also just join meetings. So if I've been invited to a meeting, I can join it simply by the meeting ID or by the personal link. So if somebody's actually sent you the name that's not a number, I can actually bring up a keyboard, type that in, and off I go. There's also a presentation capability. Now this is one thing I love about the Neat Bar, and I'll get a little more into it, about how easy it is to share wirelessly. And the quality of the sharing has really kind of blown me away. I think it's some of the best wireless sharing I've seen that doesn't require any dongles or anything else. And of course, you can also do a hardwire if you want to. And there's also a phone option. Once again, going back to people forget, Zoom has a phone capability as well. So this can also act as the speakerphone in my room. If we go back to the Meet Now, another fun thing you're going to find is you'll see automatically your corporate directory. This is everybody in my company who has a full paid Zoom license. And it's not just being able to see them, you can actually see their presence right there. So I can see if they're on their desktop, if they're mobile, if they're offline, if they're in a meeting, if they're already in a Zoom call. And obviously there is the Meet Now button, which gives me the ability to start a meeting. And once it's started, this is the user interface. So really kind of a clean, sharp interface. I really like it. Simple: mute, stop video, share content, chat. Now understand you can't actually chat from the touch panel, but if anybody is chatting from a desktop app or a mobile app, you can at least bring up the chat history. You can actually start recording the meeting right there, and it'll record to Zoom's cloud meetings, and you can even have it do transcription. There's invite, so if I want to just bring people into my meeting room, I can click on the names that are in my company, or if I want to invite them via email, I can do that. Keep in mind, once I have the Outlook integration, I can actually have it send the email, and SIP.323 room systems. So I can actually join a legacy video conferencing system and invite them in, just like they're another endpoint. I can also manage my participants, so I can see all the participants that are in the room. If I want to mute them or even remove them, I can do that right here from the touch panel interface, which is pretty slick. And then obviously camera control. So the Neat Bar does have a high resolution camera. I can actually do things like pan tilt zoom. Obviously I can set presets. Another nice thing from an administrative standpoint is I can lock who can make changes to this. So I can lock who can change presets, or I can set a passcode that people have to know. So it really helps from people kind of just messing things up. Obviously you have your slider bar for volume, and that is the volume of the speaker on the Neat Bar itself. And you have obviously the leave meeting. Okay, so let's talk about one of my favorite things about this product. And it's a mixture between the hardware and Zoom software themselves, but it comes down to content sharing, which has always been a pain in the butt. Now, obviously, I can physically plug in HDMI to the back of the bar itself and share content that way. One thing to keep in mind, though, is currently you cannot share audio over the physical connection to HDMI on the unit. It is a future, but really where we've all wanted to get is wireless. So I've got my wireless laptop here with the Zoom application running. Now, one thing that's amazing is it just works. So with that in mind, so I've got a video playing, because video is the hardest thing to do, right, with audio. So all I have to do is hit the share key on my Zoom application. You can also do this via meet.zoom.us. So I hit share screen. I'm going to put in my sharing key. Watch this. So we have full 30 frames per second, full audio, completely synced, high resolution, and it just works. And this is all completely on Wi-Fi. I'm not using a hard connection in any way, shape, or form. I can also control the audio from my laptop, but I wanted to show the kind of resolution you can get. And yes, you can do things like blow that full screen and you do not see any detriment to the video. This is honestly the best wireless sharing I've ever seen. I think it's a combination of the hardware in the Neat bar itself and obviously Zoom software on it. But we've seen a lot of people trying to do proximity sharing and that sort of thing before, and you've always had limitation on things like frame rates and audio and everything else. Congratulations, you made it through. We're finally here at the end for all of the summary, final thoughts, final opinions. So let's just jump right into it. What did I like about the Neat bar? Rapid availability, huge in this day and age, right? We know it's getting impossible to even get a USB web camera. To be able to get a fully capable Zoom Room system in under 3 days, I think that's a huge win, as most vendors right now are running at least at a 4-week lead time. I loved, if you couldn't tell by the video, I loved the fact it came with all the mounting options. Whether it was going to be screen mounted top or bottom, whether it was going to be wall mounted, or whether it was going to be a tabletop, you got all the options. No need to figure out what other part numbers or what other costs you needed to put it on in the room. No power brick. It's a little thing, but it's a little thing I like. Very clean installation. No big power supplies anywhere else. No big bricks on the actual to the power plug. Included PoE adapter. I think that's massive. I can't tell you how many times I've run into clients who want to put a touch panel on a phone, on a conference room table, and that table is not connected to a PoE switch, so either we have to get an injector or reroute to a switch that did have PoE. Little things, but little things count. The QR code installation process, I thought that was kind of fun, right? You just scan it, takes you right to an animated video how to install. The reality is the install is so easy. I think once you do it once, you're going to be good to go, but it's still kind of fun, right? The fit and finish on the hardware, second to none. I expect no less from the R&D team that put this together. I'm sure they're going to be putting in for a Red Dot Award in the future, but it's incredibly clean, and it looks like everything has its place in the hardware. The audio processing is excellent. The Neat has its own hardware audio processing, and once again, looking at who built the system, I'm expecting great things from it. The audio fidelity was awesome on the unit. Unfortunately, it's very hard to record and show on a video because it's all very subjective, as well as you're dealing with different compression, but I was really impressed with the audio. By the way, when you have a Zoom Room license, you also have the ability to dial through to 323 or SIP devices. I tested this by just calling some of my colleagues that might be on legacy systems or on a different platform that's running 323 and SIP. It was seamless. More likes. So, quick customer support. We saw I had some issues. I went on the Zoom.no website support site, requested a chat, got somebody in probably under 2 minutes, and with 3 minutes after that, we were on a video call discussing the issues and working through them. The touch panel also acts as a scheduling platform. So, as you know, there are different room scheduling platforms out there. It's all integrated in the Zoom platform, and then the hardware from Neat gives you the ability to get more panels that just act as schedulers outside the room, as well as is room available or what have you with the indication lights on the panel. Very tight integration with Zoom. This is a custom-built, purpose-built endpoint for Zoom Rooms. It is not a video device trying to do 5 million things for 5 million platforms. That's an exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying, right? This is designed for that platform to be completely optimized in that platform and not trying to be a jack of all trades. It's DSP based. This new line of Zoom Room appliances, I think, is going to actually expand how much deployment they see and how much adoption they see in the future. We've been saying for 2 years that everybody thought it was okay to just slap a PC or a Mac on a wall with a USB camera and you had a room system. We all who have been in the industry for a while know that never works out because you're dealing with multiple software platforms, multiple management platforms, and security issues. So when you can get a dedicated device that doesn't run on Mac OS or Windows, it does one thing and it does one thing very well at a very competitive price point. The wireless sharing, it's amazing. I'm totally blown away by it. Maybe I haven't been playing with wireless sharing as enough as I could in the last year or two, but the fact I could get full 30 frames per second video and high quality lip synced audio through a wireless sharing was pretty amazing to me, and it now makes me go, you know what? I'm done with the days of dongles on cables. Couple of concerns though I do have to point out. One, there is no Wi-Fi support in the unit right now. While I would never, by default, recommend people trying to do high quality video over Wi-Fi, the new reality of it is people are going to do high quality video over Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi is getting much better. But flip side, this unit could be made very portable. I've personally put it on a rolling cart with a screen, and I could see instances where people will do this and want to be able to just roll the unit around and just plug in power. Not currently there today. We'll see what comes in the future. They're kind of at the mercy of Zoom Room software, and this is going to be a issue across the appliance space currently, is that while Neat has done the core engineering around the hardware, the DSP technology, and everything else, they still are using Zoom's Android application for Zoom Rooms. So if there is an issue with that software, which we may have identified, and I've seen one in the past, they are at the mercy of the Zoom engineers. They can make, obviously they have two-way conversations with them, but we all know how software engineering goes. If they're not currently in a build cycle, you may have to wait. And depending on what the hardware engineers on the Zoom side, or I'm sorry, on the Neat side want to be able to do, they may have to wait until Zoom lets them do it. So I think that's going to be a little bit concerning. I understand the need for a unified platform, unified software, unified interface, but if you're going to have multiple vendors build these devices, I hope that Zoom is going to have some ability to allow these hardware vendors to expand a bit on their capabilities and help them differentiate in the market. All right. This thing kind of drives me crazy. Currently, there is no deep camera control. What I mean by that is I can't do brightness. I cannot do contrast. I can't do white balance adjustments. I did have an issue with the unit because of the lighting in my office, where at certain times it looked really grainy and really washed out because I could not change any of those things. Once again, could be a factor of the Zoom software not allowing it, but that's something I hope that they can adjust or change in the future. No automatic framing yet. There is no auto camera on the Neat.no bar. Well, some other vendors do have that now, but that is currently a limitation. There is no audio over HDMI, aka if you actually plug in a cable to share it, you can't get audio off that laptop. But honestly, the wireless sharing is so good, I don't know why you would do that anymore. There is no reseller and installation programs. This may sound kind of selfish, but the reality of it is, you go to a website, you buy it. And it's really, in my opinion, intended for you to go ahead and install it yourself, which I think most people can do. But there is a reason that a lot of companies partner, because a lot of organizations need a lot of installs quickly and support. But slight concern. There is no federal space certification, so right now they don't have any JITC or FedRAMP or anything else. That may change in the future, but that's the way it is today. This is a little one, but it drives me crazy. For all of the mounting options they have on the TV mounting bars themselves, they do not have the cutouts for 200 millimeter mount pattern, Visa mount pattern. They have, it looks like 400, 600. So I had to drill holes in mine. Now, you can yell at me, and it could be partially my fault. This is not a professional grade monitor. It was a monitor I got a great price off of on Amazon, and it would show up at my house. And when you're in quarantine, you get what you can get, but I used a 200 millimeter pattern hole for the mounts. I was able to mount it to my cart, but I could not use the mount as it stood, TV mount on the Neat bar, so I had to drill a couple more holes to be able to fit it. And here's my conclusion. So after all those things, the value of it's amazing. Coming from a guy who started in PictureTel way back in the days, and a single video conferencing codec started $100,000 in 1996 money, the ability to get this kind of complete package for a list price of $2,500 is shocking. The bar itself, I think, is worth $2,500, but to also get all the mounting options and the panel and everything else, that's really quite amazing. The engineering is unbelievable. With a lot of things coming. If you look on their website, they specifically say auto framing's coming, environmental sensors will be enabled, HDMI over audio will come, and Wi-Fi will come, and this is all through software. So a lot of the things that I gave concerns about, they're probably on the verge of fixing now. And guys, the end of all, it's an amazing Zoom Room solution from a team that has a proven track record. And I cannot wait to see what they have coming in the future. They do currently have a picture of a coming touchscreen device, and it's highly recommended. And this is coming from a guy who we can't resell him, so me and my company and my team don't make any money off of him. I highly recommend it. If you haven't looked at this and you're going to deploy Zoom Rooms, you're doing yourself a disservice. So with that, thank you for watching. If you made it all the way through this video, at the same time, me and my team at 2020 Technology, we're here to help. Feel free to reach out to us. You can see our website right there, 2020technology.com. I hope to do more of these videos unless all of you tell me you don't want to see any more of these videos. But I want to do more of these videos in the future, look at more technologies, look at more of the platform and the setup and everything else. So with that, I'm Tony, coming to you from the basement here in Virginia, and I hope everybody has a great day.